let's talk a little bit about what's called active money management. Basically, we're going to want to try to talk a little bit about how the big wigs, if you will, work their money. They don't just put the money in, cross their fingers, and hope it works. They actually have someone managing that money on a day-to-day basis. So one of the questions we normally ask is, what's the chances that if you play a football game with only offense, are you going to win that game? You don't have a defense team, you only have offense. Chances are you're not. You need both offense and defense, right? And it's much better normally if you proact versus reacting. If you're always reacting to the market, you're too late. That's what we say, right? So basically what active money management is going to do is it's going to take someone to say, hey, let's look at your risk tolerance. What is it that you want to do? What's your time horizon? How much do you want to risk? There's a difference between having risk and being risky. So that's what we want to determine, right? And basically what we want to talk about in active money is their goal is not always to time the market. That doesn't exist. Anyone that tells you that, run the other way, it's not going to work. But what we want to do is make sure that if the market goes down, we don't go down as far as the market. We probably take out a little bit less of the loss. And also when the market goes up, we're the same way. We're not going to gain all the gains of the market, but we might gain some of it. The basics of this is, let's say that you have regular market, you're in there, and let's just play with $100, okay? If you had $100 and you lose 50%, it's going to take you 100% to get back to where you were. Yeah, you heard that right. If you lose 50, you need 100. Here's the example. You have 100%, you lose 50%, you're down to $50. Then when you make 50%, you're making 50% of the $50. So you're only at 75. You're still down 25%. Now the problem is they normally don't tell you that. They normally say our average return, which in average, 25 up, 25 down, average is 0. But the real return is still negative 25. So if we can avoid that 50% drop, let's say, and just have a 20% drop, the difference is we don't need 100% to get to your whole value, right? We only need 25. Now that's a lot more likely to happen. And even if you don't get this upswing of 80%, you might get a 50, 60%. But since you didn't start from way down there, you're always going to be ahead of the game. So basically what we want to do is reduce the losses and catch most of the gains. That's what money management does. That's what active means. So you've got to keep in mind, one of the things that people talk about is when it's active money, they're like, yeah, that's investments, that's a lot of money. There's one area that I want you to keep in mind, and this has been growing crazy in the last few years. There's over 100,000 companies now that offer this inside of their 401k. So traditionally, when you're visiting a client, you're talking about what they have, what they can invest, what they can do. But how does it feel when you get to a client and he says, well, I can only save like $300 a month. I do have 200 grand in my 401k. And you're like, yeah, when you leave that company, let me know, because now we can do a rollover. But in the meantime, there's not a lot we can do. Well, there's 100,000 companies out there that now allow active money management within the 401k while you're still employed. So now you're not just helping them manage their money once they have it and they're going to use it. You can actually help them manage their money how they grow it and make them build a better nest egg that later on you're going to help them do something else with. So we have covered a lot in this video again, but it's like everything. Just remember, use discretion, talk to your upline, talk to your SMD, figure out what's best for the client, and always ask if they have a 401k, if it can be managed, because I guarantee they're going to appreciate you a lot more if you help them on the upside, not just on the exit.